Talking CRM with Jeff and David, getting the best value for the whole organization from your integrated CRM and accounting systems. David Beard, CRM Principal, and Jeff Richards, Head of Training Program Development for Sage CRM, spend time chatting with customers, resellers, and others about Sage CRM in action around the globe. Today, we're joined by the Principal of CRM Together. In this episode, Jeff gets Marc to explain more about how he started with Sage CRM, our shared experiences of Sage CRM across the years, and why, for Marc, user adoption is so important and how their products make that happen. Hello, Jeff.
Hello, David.
And today we're welcoming along our guest, Marc Reidy. Marc Reidy is from CRM Together, based in Dublin, Ireland, and they specialize in helping around the world of CRM with add-ons and more. And I'll let Marc talk about that, but I'll throw it to Jeff to introduce Marc more fully, and away you go.
Oh, I'm not going to introduce Marc more fully. I'm going to get Marc to introduce himself. So, Marc, tell me about yourself, and don't lie, because of course we're former colleagues.
That's true, but little do you know, I always lied back then. So maybe now I'll tell the truth. Marc Reidy is my name. I do know the guys a long time, 20 years or so.
Oh, it seems like it, doesn't it? If not, it's just been a traumatic 2 weeks.
But so I used to work for Sage back in the day, back when it was eWare, and I think it was around 2009 that we CRM Together kind of started off, and then 2010 probably got very serious. And we sell products through the Sage CRM partner channel throughout the world. So we have a distributor in Germany, because my Sprechen Sie Deutsche isn't so great. We're one of the bigger, I think, add-on partners for Sage CRM, and we see great things really happening at the moment.
We certainly see you cropping up in different conferences, like the July conference, which was online, and that was aimed mostly at the North American market. But what other conferences physically can people expect to have seen you at?
Magella was actually at the TPAC conference earlier this year. That was the last kind of physical conference, and that was based in Vancouver.
TPAC stands for Third Party Advantage Conference, doesn't it? Mostly aimed at the 300 partners in the States.
That's correct,
and Canada.
The previous year it was in Niagara Falls, and I was at that. And then the previous year to that was in Niagara Falls, and we did Sage Summit as well. We've done a good few Sage Summits through the years, on and off.
I enjoy talking about Sage Summits because largely they've all stopped now, and David will have me reminiscing because summits were fantastic events, and of course they don't happen now because of disease and infections and all sorts of things like that. True. I regret, but online is a pretty good hot environment to still meet people.
Yeah, now, I find the summits, they're a great opportunity to meet your customers directly, because a lot of times we're kind of a level away from customers and we don't really get to know them. The partners dealing with them directly, and at least at Summit, then it's great to kind of meet people, and people can say very kind things, and people can teach you things as well. I think one of the first ever conferences we did was in Washington. I think it was 2011 or 2013, something like that. I was pitching to someone, showing them the accelerator product, the Outlook integration, and I was going through the features, and then I could see they were keen. I was going on showing them extra bits and pieces, and they stopped me and said, "You can only lose me at this point." And I went, "Aha, hang on." And the lesson here was, okay, when you've got it, stop. When you're doing a demo with someone and you think you've got the deal, just stop, end it there. You've got the deal. You can only lose it. And that was great advice, and that was from a customer who obviously was great at selling themselves and understood. And in those conferences, it's great that people were willing to give this advice, and impart this wisdom that they had learned. And I could have learned the hard way, but they actually stopped me. And I'm glad to say that particular customer is still a customer here all these years later.
So that's really good. That's that sort of reputation that you build up. We talked about you're an ISV. You create add-ons for the Sage CRM marketplace. But what are the areas in which you focus?
Well, our primary focus with any of the products we build really is around user adoption, because it's the key killer of CRM projects. If you look at, say, an ERP project, if it's failing, it's failing spectacularly. Everyone knows about it. If a CRM project is failing, it kind of dies a slow death. The guy who paid for it, maybe the champion knows it's okay and they use it, but they haven't been able to get other people to use and put the data in. Our approach really is about making CRM just seamless and part of their daily process. Initially, we actually used to have an IE plugin. We then evolved it then and have obviously our Accelerator Outlook integration. And what we just try and do is make CRM just feel like a part of their daily work. So everyone opens up their Outlook, and CRM just feels like a part of that. It's deeply embedded in the Outlook. It just makes people feel that CRM is just part of what they do, and they see the benefits straight away. And they, especially for new projects, you go in, you have an empty database. There's not a lot to look at. People are kind of going, why would I fill this in? What's the benefit? With the Accelerator integration, they start seeing the data going in very quickly. They start seeing the benefits. And really, we're just trying to remove that friction between the end user doing their work and getting the information into the CRM system.
So that's a good summary of why, and it's the adoption so important. It's probably worth you giving a quick précis of the products you have so that people understand what you do.
Because you mentioned you've mentioned their names, but that in terms of what are they and where do they fit?
Sure. So we have 4 main products at the moment that we sell. We have the Accelerator product, deep Outlook integration, and that's our main product by a long way. And a lot of partners lead with that when they're doing demonstrations and selling Sage CRM. We have our Mobile X product, which is our mobile app. And this is designed to be used on a mobile phone. It's a progressive web app and an app we're continuing to evolve. And actually, even we're now looking at getting it onto the App Store to really try and address CRM from a mobile point of view and make it actually useful rather than just a box ticking exercise of, do you have a mobile app? It's actually an app that will actually communicate with them. We have our Customer 365 portal, which is a self-service implementation of our portal. It's kind of a funny product, in that it's a mixture of product and then some services. Typically, people want different things. So, for example, we have people running warranty systems on it, so people can register. They can purchase a product, they can then register their warranty on the site. And we've got that people can actually order. We've integration with Sage 100, so people can order on the portal, and actually it gets processed into Sage 100. And then we have the Crystal Reports integration, which allows you to access Crystal Reports via Sage CRM, and that includes one-click reports. Crystal Reports is typically what's shipped with the Sage ERP products, and we just try and utilize that people can actually build those particular reports and embed them into CRM. So, of course, I should have mentioned also, then we have the open source initiative that we started late last year. And what we do with that is we provide free open source code on GitHub that anyone can access and install. And we have one particular product on that's called the Rapid Item Picker, which is an add-on for building quotes and picking items. And that's been a really big success.
What's been the push to do the open source thing? Because the other products are more ISV, you buy them per user, et cetera, et cetera. Why the open source?
The reason that we decided to do open source, there's two parts, I suppose. There's always the temptation to say, oh, can we build something? Can we make this a product? The reality is you have then maybe 20 products and, only some sell well, and then you sell a few of each, and then you're just spread too thin. And so the idea here was more so to say, well, look, it really isn't worth our while making this into a product, and all that entails help files, updating, testing with the next version. It's a lot of work. It's got to be justified. And a lot of the utilities we felt we just couldn't justify, making them products. It just didn't make sense. So we thought, well, how can we benefit from them, however? And what we decided was, well, these can be a marketing tool. The same way we invest in marketing, we just invest in free products here. It's still part of our marketing channel. And the idea is then also to help the partners sell. The more Sage CRM is sold, the more that we sell, because that's where we live.
All boats rise. Yeah,
all
exactly.
boats rise, exactly.
Yeah, exactly. In the next episode, Marc talks about how he chose the path, or in fact, the path chose him in becoming a Sage CRM ISV partner, where he sees the future of Sage CRM in 2020 and beyond, and how customers are awakening to the potential of having everything in one place in an operational system like Sage CRM. You've been listening to Talking CRM with Jeff and David, getting the best for the whole organization from your integrated CRM and accounting systems.